Born in 1904, P.F. Skinner lived in a small Pennsylvania town until he left for college, specifically Hamilton College. At college, Skinner grew passionate about writing and tried to become a professional writer, but after a few years, he decided to change career paths. He wasn't as successful as he wanted to be at it. In 1928, he decided to go to Harvard to pursue a degree in psychology. During his time at Harvard, Skinner attempted to find a way to study behavior that is more objective. The Skinner box is what he came up with to do this, using an operant conditioning apparatus. Inside the box, rodents and other animals would be studied and taught to perform certain tasks. For instance, some pigeons were taught to peck a disc in order to get food or reinforcement. From the Skinner box, he concluded reinforcement is important to learn new behaviors. Skinner was a radical behaviorist, and for clarity, behaviorism is the theory that psychology can be objectively studied through observable action. So he believed mental events were a part of his studies because they were unimportant, and behavior instead was ruled by consequences. So that led to his idea of operant conditioning, where it says that their subjects learn behavior by associating it with consequences, as opposed to classical conditioning, which was what Pavlov studied and developed, where a subject learns to associate two unrelated stimuli with each other. His ideas around operant conditioning were later written down in his book, The Behavior of Organisms, in 1938. His work during World War II was at the University of Minnesota, where he was assigned a project to train pigeons to be guides for bombing runs. This project was scrapped eventually. It was canceled. I didn't really find out why, but I did find out that later he decided to instead teach pigeons to play ping pong, which I think is adorable. Like, I really wish I could have seen it in person, although there is a YouTube video that I linked to that shows the pigeons playing ping pong with each other. And there's also a band called The Pigeons Playing Ping Pong where I got the picture in the corner from. So after 10 years after he wrote his most famous work, The Behavior of Organisms, he also released a fiction novel detailing a utopian society based around behavior modification through rewards and punishments. So he's still thinking along the same lines, but instead it's fiction, although a lot of his academic colleagues did not like his foray into fiction and thought it made him less credible. Still, though, he is known as one of the most influential psychologists, and behavior therapy and token economies come from his ideas. This is my sources page. I used a biography.com article detailing B.F. Skinner's life, and I also used the chapter from our textbook for this week, Neobehaviorism.